What's up, everybody? Andrew Macia with the Medellin Buzz. Today is Sunday, so we're going to take a little walk down Ciclovia on Avenida Poblado, have some coffee, walk back, and talk about some of the things you should look out for when you want to move down to Colombia. I've helped many people over the last 13 years come down to Medellin, make a life, buy an apartment, rent an apartment, establish their business, meet people, make friends, do activities, etc. There are some things you should do before you get down here and make your transition a lot easier. So make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. Let's go. It's a little cloudy today, but that's okay. It's a little uncharacteristic though. The last couple of months it's been super hot here because of the El Nino, but it's never cold here, so we'll survive. Also, I'm using this cheap little Bluetooth mic, so sorry if the sound isn't up to par. I promise I'm gonna get a better mic for these outdoor videos.
All right, so tip number one is an obvious one. You need to learn Spanish. You don't need to be fluent. I have many friends here that have lived here for many years that aren't fluent in Spanish and they get by just fine, but you should have a certain level of Spanish because most people here don't speak English. Even in the touristy areas, the hotels, the restaurants, most of the staff will not know how to speak English. So you need to know how to communicate. So there are two things that you can do. The first thing that you could do is you could get one of those translators, and you can find them for pretty cheap, like $40 or $60, and they work really well. I've met many people that come down here just for a few weeks or a few months, and they have this translator where they talk into it or they type into it and it translates it perfectly. That's one way, but you don't want to go around doing that. It's so much better if you actually know the language. So the best thing to do is to get a local tutor. Even if you're not here in Medellin, you can look up on Google Spanish classes in Medellin or Spanish tutor in Medellin. For example, my friend Carla and her business called Spicy Spanish, you can get a local tutor. So you're killing two birds with one stone. Not only are you learning Spanish, but you're also making a local friend, so that when you do get here, you at least have one local friend. And that person probably knows all of the language exchanges and could probably introduce you to some of their own friends. So you're making connections, you're building your community, and you're learning Spanish. So don't be lazy, start learning Spanish. All right, so tip number two is renting like a local. So going on Airbnb and finding an apartment for a week or maybe even a month is okay because you know what you're gonna get, you know you're not getting scammed. The problem is though that it's gonna be overpriced. And I know that they're overpriced because I own a couple of them. And when the demand goes up, the prices go up as well. So when you first get here, yeah, maybe renting through Airbnb is okay for, like I said, a week or a month. But once you're here, what you want to do is find local apartments. And you can find local apartments that are furnished off of Airbnb that are going to be way cheaper. This can save you hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars per month. So how do you find them? You type in Spanish, as if you were a Colombian coming to Medellin for a month or 6 months, furnished apartments in Medellin, or apartamentos amoblados in Medellin. And that's going to give you a bunch of results of local companies that offer furnished apartments. Many of these companies don't even ask for a local ID. You can just rent with your passport, some sort of down payment, or maybe even payments in advance. Now, there's not much regulation when it comes to real estate companies, so make sure that if you find something that's too good to be true, and they're asking for money in advance without you getting keys, that you don't do that, because those are scams. And there have been a few of them. If you are part of any of the Facebook groups of expats or even travelers here, you'll see every now and then someone that got scammed on a website that was renting furnished or unfurnished apartments. Obviously, if you go unfurnished, you're going to get a better price, but then you have to furnish it. So renting a furnished apartment might be the best thing if you're only going to be here for a few months. Tip number three is banking. Figure out your banking before you even get here. Find out how much your bank charges you for ATM withdrawals, international, or even international transfers. A lot of banks charge an arm and a leg when you take money out from international ATMs or when you make international transfers. If that's the case with your bank, look for a bank that charges less or has zero fees. Furthermore, in order to get a bank account here in Colombia, you have to have a local ID. So a lot of foreigners can't get a bank account here. There are some exceptions where some banks, or maybe even in small towns, you can open up a bank account with just a passport. I have heard of that. So it's not completely impossible. At the same time, you may want to ask yourself, do I really want a Colombian bank account? Because once you're in the system and you stay here more than 186 days, I think it is, you have to declare taxes. So if you have a local Colombian account, there's more visibility. So even if you're going to stay long term, those are questions that you want to ask a tax accountant. I have a few recommendations, so if you want those, feel free to contact me or click the link in the description below. Another tip is building a community. You don't even have to be in Medellin in order to start building your community, your friends, finding like-minded individuals. You can go on Facebook groups that have expats and travelers that are living in Medellin and start seeking people out. The thing about being an expat or being a traveler in Medellin is that the people that are living here are pretty active. There are a lot of groups to join, depending on what hobbies you're interested in, whether you play basketball, you go hiking, you like board games, you're an entrepreneur and you like masterminds, you can find it all here. So Facebook groups are a great resource. Another great resource is called MDE Community, and they have an Instagram, and they have a ton of WhatsApp groups. Depending on your interests, you join that WhatsApp group and you start meeting these people. You don't even have to be in Colombia in order to get started with that. And the last tip, and probably the most genius tip, is to hire a personal assistant. If you're making $2,000 a month or above, you can definitely afford to hire someone part-time or even just per hour to help you do some of these things that I'm talking about. For example, translating documents, going with you to the bank, finding apartments. Hiring a personal assistant was the best thing that I did. And I'm fluent in Spanish, but this person helps me organize a lot of the things that I need to do in life. And it makes my life a lot easier, including dating sometimes, like picking a place to go eat or doing stuff for me in that regard. How do you find a personal assistant? Number one, you can contact me and I can help you. Number two, you can go on Facebook groups and announce that you're looking for a personal assistant, and you're going to get a lot of people that are interested. Depending on how much you're paying, you're going to get a great person or maybe someone with less English, but you always want someone that's bilingual, right?
After many years here in Colombia, I've been able to establish an amazing life, and I have a lot of other friends that are either expats or Colombians that lived abroad and now have come back to create an amazing life for themselves as well. So if you're coming down to Colombia, I hope that these tips helped. Please hit that like button and the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.